image that we could put up now of the building. There we go.
So
you can see it on the camera behind you.
For those of you who can't see this image, what it shows is a very modern-looking building with a kind of a wing-like roof over it, which in and of itself demonstrates a green principle, which is the one of daylighting. It's a building with a southern orientation,
So
with
that's
a broad
the sunny side of the
overhang.
building. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the broad overhang shading some of the windows below.
That's right. So you get the best of the natural light without the heat buildup that you normally get in the summertime when the sun is actually striking the glass.
Did you do computer studies of that? Shading studies, so to speak.
We did. We did computer modeling and studied how the sun would track and what the condition would be like in the dead of winter as opposed to the summertime.
And you have a modeling program that shows the passage of shadows and the sun at any given time in this particular latitude and longitude.
That's right.
Yeah, those are very impressive to see. You know, sort of like the speed photography that you see the shadow pass over the building in a few minutes. Yeah, time lapse. Yeah.
It's a marvelous tool for positioning glass, for determining how far the light will enter into the building and so forth.
So that really formed a lot of the imagery of that building. The design is this daylighting issue, is it?
Well, that's right. All of the glass is protected, but there's a significant amount of glass which contributes a tremendous amount of daylight to the building. Some other things that we did that are rather unusual, you arrive at the building actually at a level above the roof, which is something that you normally try to avoid, but in this case we had some things we wanted to show off, which is the big sloping roof, and you can readily see how the roof plane protects the glass and yet allows the light in, but also we have what's called a high albedo roofing, which is a fancy word for a very reflective roof. Now, Monterey County, we're blessed with having a fairly benign climate, but in many parts of the world, you want a very light-colored roof because you want to reflect the light back and you want to avoid absorbing that heat energy.
So if it were black, like a normal tar and gravel roof, a built-up roof, they call it, that would be absorbing all of this sun rays and building up heat that would sort of stay in the building undesirably.
Right, and in fact, there's some studies that suggest in Chicago in the summertime, if every building in Chicago had a white roof, it would lower the summertime temperature in the city by 10 degrees, which is a phenomenal number.
That's very impressive.
If you look at the energy.
Well, I've been in Chicago in the summer. I think that'd be a good thing to implement.
So, and we also, that's where you can get the best view of the photovoltaic array, which was a part of the design of the building. It's a 30 kW photovoltaic array, which provides about a third of the energy needs for that particular building.
Is that stored someplace in the building and then released, or is it just as it comes through? How does that system work?
Actually, it's fed back into the grid, as people like to say. It's generated, and to the extent that there is a surplus, and I suspect that especially now with the added photovoltaics that you have in the summertime, my guess is York School is a net energy producer, which means that literally their meter is running backwards and they're feeding power into the grid.
Do you get any payments for that?
I think you get credits for PG&E.
We signed up for one of the early programs of PG&E to have reverse metering.
So you're a co-generator in a sense.
That's right.
Yeah.
On a sunny day when the buildings aren't being used as much in the summer, then it potentially could happen.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's a great image of the meter running backwards.
Yeah.
I think all of us would like to have that in our homes or buildings.
Absolutely.
When I passed through the building, one of the interesting things I saw is that you had like cutouts that were intentionally done by the architect to display to the students or anybody passing by to see inside the parts of the building. You want to explain why that done and what it was?
Well, we wanted, from my understanding, we wanted to have the building be more than just a building. We wanted the building to be a teacher as well. And so, Ken designed these features that could actually serve our educational mission. In the physics lab classroom, there's a cutout of the ceiling insulation, and is that that's the denim?
Yeah, the denim stuff.
The recycled denim.
We use recycled denim insulation in the roof.
These are recycled blue jeans.
So these are Levi's up in the.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah, and so they can learn about that.
Of course, they don't look like Levi's anymore. They're kind of pulverized and sorted, and they look kind of.
It has a very distinctive color to it.
It does have a Levi color. That's true. Yeah, it is blue.
It looks as if it had been in a blender, though. And then there's Ken also installed a plasma screen TV that our students, in their computer programming course, they have created flash animation to help convey what the building is doing and what kind of energy it's producing, what kind of energy it's using.
How would that look like if I'm looking at this screen and it's flashing something as it's generating electricity or using electricity?
Yeah, basically what it's doing is flash animation. It's a specific type of software that our students learn how to use, and it is flashing up images or graphs or charts that show what the building is doing.
So it's live.
Yeah, exactly. And what our environmental impact on the world is, and you know, it's something that that we teach across the curriculum. We're able to use that building.
I remember coming around the corner of the building, there was a time capsule in the corner, and it was elevated on the wall, not buried in the ground. And it was something you're going to open up. Tell me a little bit about that.
That capsule was designed by one of our alumni Adam Broadsley, and he works at a design firm in San Francisco. And it was a plaque designed to thank all of the generous supporters of York School that helped make that building possible. It has a clock that's counting down to August of 2009, which is going to be the date of our 50th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
And so
that's appropriate.
What we'll do is when that counts down to that point, we'll open it up and put something in there, and then we'll reset the clock, and it'll be reset for another 50 years. So that'll be part of the celebration.
Yeah, that's perfect. Ken, I remember looking at an image of the science lab, and Kevin, when we were walking through there and looking back at this photograph, he was talking about some of the materials you used in the furnishings and the lighting, the ceiling tiles even. All of those pieces of the building were all thought about in the green sense. You want to explain a little bit how that's done?
Well, yeah, in fact, if I could just quickly, a lot of people don't really have a good sense of what the definition of green building is. There's one that I like particularly because it's very simple, and it's three elements. It's a strategy, number one, that conserves resources and energy, number two, minimizes impact on the environment, and number three, creates healthy environments for people. And that's one thing that we don't talk about so much. People don't think about. They think about the environment, and they don't think so much about these are buildings that house people, and they need to be healthy environments. So to those various ends, we used, we have a very energy efficient building from the standpoint of its energy usage, highly efficient lighting, lots of day lighting, good insulation. We use a lot of recycled content in the materials that we use. We were very spare with our use of timber framing. Such simple kind of dumb things like studs are spaced at 24 inches on center, which is a perfectly legitimate and strong thing to do instead of 16
So you have
inches.
fewer of them.
We saved 1/3 of the framing lumber by doing that.
I know that we just, I'm going to have to cut you off because I'm getting the high sign about the time here. But I see that we just scratched the surface, so we'll have to come back and go into it in more detail. Because it's really in the detail that all of this happens. You know, you have the commitment, and I applaud you for it, and you've carried it out over this long period of time, and you've got a magnificent building as a result.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back in 2 minutes with Michael Waxer from Carmel Development. Thank you.